Good morning. So yesterday what we had done was up to verse 16 from the Srimad Bhagavatam, Narada's instructions on Srimad Bhagavatam to Ved Vyas. This is what we had done. Now in that Narada is saying that as a guru, you have been writing scriptures on, say, the Vedas have been segregated out into the 4 different types, which is Rig Ved, Sam Ved and all that. After that, you have written the Mahabharata, and after writing the Mahabharata, you got very dejected and you did not feel the sweetness or the love in what you have done. So, to feel that, you have to be a very good person yourself and you have to do something for the world. See, happiness comes by spreading happiness. That means you have to give to the world. In this material world, human beings are such that they want everything. I want, I want, I want. They are not interested in giving. So if you see, I want my salary, I want my this, I want my that, I want a house, I want so many things. There is a tremendous wants and desires in a human being. But can you make a temple? No. There is no desire for that being. Can you give to, say, thousands of people food? No, you don't want to do that. So happiness is not going to come to a person who doesn't give to others. So when you give to others, what happens is you get the benefit of that particular action that you have done. Now the action could be anything. Let us say I build a temple. See, when I build a temple, what happens? People will come for devotional purposes over there. Is that correct or wrong? How many people will come? Suppose thousands and thousands and thousands. For how many years will they come? If as long as the temple is there, they will come for many, 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 many years. So does that give me the credit or no? Yes, it gives me a tremendous amount of credit because I am making people come to me, come to my place of worship, wherever I have built it. Now I want you to think, selfish people will build a house for themselves, will buy a flat for themselves, will buy car for themselves, will buy jewelry for themselves. How many people get happiness in that? Only the person for whom you have bought. So you have bought it for yourself or your wife or your children. You have bought jewelry for your wife. You are going to be happy. Your wife may be happy and the whole world is going to be miserable. Why? Imagine a very great wealthy person is wearing a fancy jewelry worn by the Nizam of Hyderabad. And everybody is going to envy that person. Look at that person. She is wearing this jewelry. Isn't that what they will say? You know that Hope Diamond and various other things are there. The crown jewel, which is called the Kohinoor, is worn by the Queen of England, was worn. How many people were against it? The whole of the country is against it. So possession of any kind and doing something for your own self is a cause of misery. So you build a house for yourself, you are going to be only giving it to yourself. But if you build a temple, if you give food for 1,000 people, if you are donating to charity, and the charity is good. I'm not saying that's a bad charity. A good charity. What happens? Everybody who is there is going to give you a blessing because you have fed them. You have built a temple. You have done something for it. So thousands and thousands of people for thousands and thousands of years may come to your temple, isn't it? And that is the benefit which you will accrue in your life. But selfishness will never accrue any benefit to you except that little benefit which will come when you own a thing. You buy a fancy car, you're going to be happy only at that moment in time. And that is the reason why Narada says to Vyasdev, see, whatever you have done is not going to give you happiness or peace or whatever. So the one thing which you got to do is to do something for the world where everybody is going to be a devotee of God. After listening to these words, everybody will want to pray to God. Isn't that correct? After listening to Mahabharata, did you like praying to any god over there? No, you were totally disgusted because everybody is fighting, killing, this, that, all the things were going on. And all the Ved Shastras How many people understand that? Just less than 0.001% of the people will actually understand what is written in the Veda. Nobody understands. I hope you got the point. And that is the reason why you have to write something which is called the stories of God, which are going to be appreciated by everybody, and everybody will love to hear the stories. Are we hearing stories of Sri Ram? Yes. We like to hear stories of Sri Krishna in his childhood? Yes. Do we want to hear the story of Narasimha Swami? Yes. Do you want to hear about every other god? Yes, of course. I want to hear stories of God. As a child also, I was very much interested in stories. So when Ved Vyas writes the stories of God, everybody is going to praise him. All the credit for telling the story from mother to the child, or whoever is telling the story, that credit will come to one person only. I hope you get this clear in your mind. Becoming selfish is not going to help you. Building for yourself, doing something for yourself is not going to give you any mukti. So do something for the world. If you are spending some amount of money, 100 rupees on yourself, at least 10 rupees you got to give. That is the idea. I hope you got it. So this is called devotional path. So let us now carry on further. So we had completed 16 and 15 in the reverse order. So, so today we will start in the right order. So we will continue. We are doing Srimad Bhagavatam. Narada's instructions on Srimad Bhagavatam, chapter 5 from Canto 1, verse 17. One who has forsaken his material occupation to engage in the devotional service of the Lord may sometimes fall down while in an immature stage. Yet there is no danger of being unsuccessful. On the other hand, a non-devotee, though fully engaged in occupational duties, does not gain anything. See, this is a very beautiful words. Now, what is mentioned over here, we got to understand. What is Narada saying? Narada is saying something very, very beautiful. He says, you have to first become a devotee of God. See, devotion is a path where we love to hear the stories of God. We sing songs, we do all kinds of things which are mentioned in the devotional part. That is called the Bhakti Marg. We are in love with God. So when you are in love with God, suddenly something happens to you. What happens to you? Maybe an incident happens in your life. That incident is very drastic or dramatic. So what happens is, maybe you lose someone very close by. Maybe you lose your spouse, or you have a loss of a child, or something like that happens. Or you lose your property, you become completely zero. You have no money in the world. And naturally, at that point in time, you get very upset and angry with God. And you say, God, why are you doing this to me? People normally go off the track like this. After being a devotee, then they suddenly go off the track. So what is Narada saying? If this happens to a devotee, and then he goes off that track, it is okay, no harm will come to him. Nothing is going to go wrong in that particular person's life. He says, because that person is immature, because the person doesn't understand, and because the person doesn't understand, there are some mistakes which the person does. But once they come back again, everything is going to get wiped clean. See, this is a very important understanding a person should have. Normally what happens is, we commit a lot of errors, mistakes, problems, sins, this, that, so many things in the world. And when we do that, we like to blame ourselves. And then we blame God also. We say, God, why did you do this to me? You're throwing me out. This is not good. Blah, 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 blah. All those things, And finally, you get out of that path and you say, I don't want to look at God. I will not go to church. I will not go to temple. I don't want to go and pray. This may happen to you for a certain amount of time. So what he says, sometimes people fall down. Sometimes these devotees fall down. But they are in love with God. Okay? Were. Then he says, because of the immaturity of the person is immature. Nobody understands God. Please understand, even if 1,000 times something is said to the person, That person is not going to understand because they are lost in their material world. See, a devotee may suddenly do something different. There is a very beautiful story where Sri Ramakrishna was sitting in front of Kali Ma and performing a puja. At that moment in time, Mathur Babu and his mother-in-law, Rani Rashmani, were sitting over there. And everybody was doing the puja for Kali Ma. And suddenly Ramakrishna Paramahansa turns towards Rani Rashmani, who is the owner of this entire property. Remember this. She is the one who built that whole thing. He looks at her and gives her a tight slap. Everybody is aghast. How can a temple priest like this, because he was a temple priest, remember, how can a temple priest like this slap the owner of this place? Rani Rashmani looks down and she doesn't say a word. After the prayers are over, she comes and touches the feet of Ramakrishna Paramahansa and says, I'm very sorry. Please forgive me. So people ask her, why did he slap you? She said, I was slapped because there were lots of cases which were instituted by these Britishers on this property. And I was thinking of the money and the property cases that were going on. Suddenly, I felt very anxious. And that is the reason why he slapped me. And he is right when he slapped me. As a devotee, I should be completely lost in the prayers. And I am thinking of something else. I hope you get this story very clear. This is the understanding a person should have. A person may fall down on the devotional path, but to say sorry and to come back on the path is the greatest thing a person can ever do. And that is the reason why even if a person moves away from the devotional path, the person coming back is going to give the person a tremendous amount of benefit. And that is the reason why a lot of my devotees, a lot of my disciples, they leave and go. They go away. When they go away, I have nothing against them. On the contrary, I have love for them. And whenever their birthday or something is there, I will write to them and I will wish them. But when they come back, I will accept them with open arms for a very simple reason. Because if anybody who acknowledges their mistakes, acknowledges that they have done something wrong, it is the greatness which will bring them back. They are understanding devotion. That is why they are back, and we have to accept them back. So the Lord also does that. So, but if there is another person who is a non-devotee. Now, who is a non-devotee? A person who has no regards for God. A person who has no such thing, like he will go to the temple once in a year. Why? Because he wants something. Every person goes to the temple. You see, there are thousands and thousands and thousands of people across India and the world. They will go to a church or a temple or a place of worship for what reason? Something is wrong in their life. They're very selfish people. And when they are selfish, they will go. See, understand one thing. You have to go when there is no requirement as such. You see, you don't have to go because there is a requirement. So always you have to be very kind and nice and goodness, full of goodness and humility in yourself. There should be love in you. And that love should be untainted. No tainting happening in that. So, this person who has no regards for God and who is just going for the purpose of just getting something and is always interested in benefits. I want this and I want that. I want a job. I want money. I want house. I want children. Whatever is the demand. Such kind of a person falls down very badly. Actually, is a non-devotee. See, there is a difference between devotion and non-devotion. Devotion is where you are putting God first in your life. You are not putting your wife, your spouse, your husband, your this, your that in that. Okay. 2 days ago, I was telling you a very beautiful story of Bharatari. I did not name that person, but I said his brother was Vikramaditya. Bharatari was lost in this Pingala, who is the prostitute. He was completely lost in her. I told you this story. So a person who is completely lost in the material world is only interested in earning money, 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 money. Why? Because he has to give to a prostitute. I mean, just think about it. This king was earning everything and giving the prostitute all kinds of beautiful clothes and jewelry and this and that. And the same thing if you are doing for your own spouse and you are giving it to them all the time, where is devotion in you? Understand this. You are not doing anything different. You are doing the same thing. This is not a done thing. Devotion is where you are devotee of God. You are constantly in love with God. People have this habit. No, no, no. I love God. I love God. I go to temple. Yeah. I go to temple. Really? When there is a problem only you go to temple. Yeah, when there is a celebration, you will go to temple. Oh, we all go as a family. We go to a temple and we celebrate some function over there. Why? So that you can wear good clothes, so that you can go and do all the shosha that you want to do over there. No. When you are in love, you don't do that for showing the world, no. It's like celebrating a wedding. I am going to wear good clothes. I'm going to wear. No, nothing like that. So, this person who is such a mean person, who is a non-devotee, he is going to fall down someday. And there will be no gain in his future life. Verse 18, person who are actually intelligent and philosophically inclined should endeavor only for that purposeful end, which is not obtainable even by wandering from the topmost planet Brahmaloka down to the lowest planet Patala. As far as happiness derived from sense enjoyment is concerned, it can be obtained automatically in the course of time, just as in the course of time we obtain miseries even though we do not desire them. So here he is saying, there are intelligent and there are smart people in this world. And what do they have? They can go anywhere they feel like. But what should they be doing? Even if you are going to some heaven, even if you are going to the worst of the hells, your devotion to God should be one only, like this, single pointed only. You should not waver from that. So, what he says is the effort that you got to put in of staying a devotee is extremely important. Now, when he is talking about topmost planet Brahmaloka to Patala, how many people can do that, please? Narada is talking about himself. He is one person who has got free visa for all the places in the world. Whether it is the heavens or whether it is the hell also. Patala also. He can visit heavens and he can visit Patala also. He can visit earth also. He has got everywhere to go. So what he is saying is, as a devotee, what is my job? My job is, even if I'm in the Patala or even if I'm in the heaven, my continuous endeavor should be to take the name of God and always be lost as a devotee of His. So, as far as happiness of the sense enjoyment is concerned, it can be obtained automatically. He says, I am not looking for happiness. Neither am I looking for misery. Now, let us come back to a human being. Human being is always running after happiness, correct? We always run after happiness. I want to get married. I want to settle down. I want to have a beautiful life. Chota sa bangla ho, bacche ho, like that kind of a thinking, Our thinking is like this. I want to have a beautiful house. Back and front, there will be a nice, children are playing over there. Dog is roaming all over the place. My husband is there. He is coming. There are lots of things happening. You see, there's a lot of money in the bank. Oh, very good. This is how everybody thinks. This is how people of Bangalore thought. This is how people of all these big places thought. Bangalore, for those who don't know about it, was only a ground or was only a place where the king would come once in a while, stay over there, stay overnight, and then proceed towards another place. So for that, he had built one castle also. So there is a Bangalore palace over here. And the first place that I went to stay, when I came to Bangalore, the first place that I went to stay, is a place where the horses of the kings were parked. So it was a stable. So I was staying in a stable. Think about it. When I went to stay, it was not a stable. Okay. So it was very unstable because there were water bodies and all that all over the place. That's a joke. Anyway, coming back to it. And then many years went by. The king, it became an independent country. There were no kings and queens at that time. The government had, barred all the kings, and now we became an, democratic society. Now, when it was a democratic society, Bangalore was a place which was meant for all the retirees. It was also the headquarters of the army for certain reason, because it's a nice and a cool place. All the Britishers who were there in the army naturally want to relax the whole time, and they want to sip a cup of tea, you see, and scones and biscuits and this and that and that. They want to eat all the stuff and they want to enjoy their life. So they had built Bangalore for their recreational purposes, just like they built Darjeeling. They built Panchgani. See, these are the places. Ooty. Why? If you go to Ooty, there is a army cantonment over there next door, which is called Kunur. All these Britishers, they wanted this enjoyment. So that is what he's saying. Na? The enjoyment is concerned. What do the people do? They go out of there, this thing. So Bangalore was considered as a place of enjoyment, relaxation, horse riding, those kind of things. And then people would have beautiful houses. Temperatures were 18 degrees, 8 degrees, 10 degrees and all that. Beautiful temperatures. So all these big fat people from the past, they started building bungalows over here. Back and front was the lawn, and then they were having so many servants and this and that. Same thing happened entire United States. The property developers came over there, sold big houses with lawn in front, lawn at the back, parking space, these nice roads and this and that. Everywhere in the world, this kind of thing started happening. And then came development. Population explosion. And when the development came, why would a person want to own 10,000, 20,000, 50,000 feet? So these things started going away. And then buildings started coming up. These people who are the lazy type, relaxation type, they got very upset with it. Oh, my country is getting destroyed. My place is getting destroyed. Look at all these people who are from New York and Chicago and all these places. What did they start saying? They started saying like this. These people came and started building tall skyscrapers and this and that. Really? You lazy folks, you came over here and took over the horses' land. That is okay with you. You're not the local people from here. Shameless like you are. If you could take over a property and then make nice bungalows for yourself, for your relaxation and for your enjoyment, what right do you have when there are people who are going to come and raise skyscrapers over there? What is your problem? Got the point or no? So human beings are always looking for enjoyment. And they don't like it when, the horses are, the horses' land was taken away and the king was thrown out. People don't like it. Same thing, the New Yorkers to the Bangaloreans to these, all these Darjeeling people and everybody, they got upset. Oh, can you take my land away? Shameless people, that doesn't belong to you. You are the occupants over here. That is the horses' land. See? That is the donkey's land. Why are you thinking about it? This is your father's property. It's not belonging to you. And then, as far as happiness derived from sense objects is concerned, it can be obtained automatically in the course of time. So, what happens? Sometimes there are people who get money just like that. They have not worked for it. Suddenly the money comes to them. And when suddenly money comes to them, because it is written in their destiny that money has to come to them. Yesterday, a very rich man gave away property to some 67, 68 and 69-year-olds of his children, by the way. An old man. He gave away his property to his 3 children. Now, all 3 children plus he, are they not having their one leg in the grave? And this man lives by eating one burger and eating and drinking Coke. Somebody who has got $170 billion in the bank account, sitting on pile of money, doesn't want to spend even a dime on something. He gives $5 billion to somebody once in a year. What is that money used to this world, by the way? By the way, you are going to the grave. Oh, I made $170 billion. Tomorrow you're going to be dead. Who gives a damn if you're dead? The whole of US is going to think, good riddance to bad rubbish. He should have at least given us $100,000. The whole of United States would be a happy place to live. Wouldn't you agree? Yes. Just imagine all the people who are Americans, if they get certain amount of legacy from this idiot. Would you be happy or no? Yeah. At least you don't have to struggle. But no, he's giving to 3 children who are going to be literally dead very soon. Well, what kind of happiness is there? So what does Narada say? This kind of stupidity which a human being does, they build a 10,000 square feet house. For what reason? No reason at all. Oh, I got money in the bank account because I want to have a very good retired life. And next day you're dead. What happens to you? What happened to the money in the bank? The money is of no use. So the happiness turns to sadness very soon. So he says, we obtain miseries even though we don't desire them. Even if the person doesn't desire, he is going to get misery. You are going to become miserable. How to store that money also is a big problem. Uncle Scrooge, you got the point? Everybody is Uncle Scrooge. Whom are you making the money for? There is a very funny thing that I read just a few days ago. This man says, he says that, there is a man, he makes a lot of money, he buys a property. He buys a property for, say, 500,000 or 100,000 or something like that. Some big amount of money, he buys a property. And then he falls in love. Then he gets married to a woman. I want you to see how this whole thing works. So he's made a property. Then he thought that happily ever after, I will bring one wife. So he brings one wife. Few years later, the wife gives him a divorce. She takes away the house and the children. And then this man is out in the streets. Whose property is it? That man worked really hard to earn that money so that he can build a property. This wife comes along, divorces him, takes the property. The government throws the man who owns the property out of that house. And then this man has to work hard all his life so that he can pay additional alimony to his wife. The law is an ass. You can also be in this position, isn't it? So what is the point of making a property? Ask this question to yourself. So you bought a property so that you wanted happiness? Did you get happiness from any angle? On the contrary, you got misery. Look at that fellow who owns that big company, Amazon, I think. He made a big company. His wife took it to the cleaners. Half of the property, billions of dollars taken away. This man has been working his really ass off all his life, and one fine stroke, tuck, like that. The woman comes, takes the property, goes away. You will say, how did this happiness turn into sadness? Did he ask for it? It comes on its own. Okay? Water goes down the hole. It comes on its own. This is a cartoon, by the way. You can Google it. The water goes down the hole. And you see this beautiful video, of, I think it is Disney or somebody. What a good hole. Huh? Like that. He's got one toy, he's got one duck. And that duck goes in the he flushes it down the toilet. And then everything that he does, now he flushes the small baby, he flushes everything down the toilet. And then everything starts coming up one by one, one by one, one by one, one by one. So it's a very funny scene. And then the whole room gets, all the bathroom gets flooded. It's a very funny, cartoon. What to go down the hole. Okay. So it is like that. So you thought you will get happiness. You thought by buying, yesterday I was called by somebody, you should buy health insurance. Why are you saying you don't want health insurance? I said, I am dead against this health insurance. Okay. If I have to die, I will die anyway. I don't care about health insurance. No, you should have health insurance. I said, for the last 30 years or 40 years, how much money have we paid? Lakhs of rupees, lakhs of rupees. Have you claimed even 10,000 rupees out of it? No. And then the person says, no, if you stop just now, you will not get the bonus benefits that are there. What bonus benefits are you talking about? I don't want any bonuses from your health insurance. Your health insurance is useless. I have paid nearly, 20 lakh rupees in the last 30 years. And I have not even taken 10,000 rupees out of this insurance. What is the point of that insurance? So you see, water go down the hole. Got the point? You buy insurance, you buy this, you buy that. For what purpose? Ever use it? The doctor gets the benefit, the hospital gets the benefit, the world gets the benefit. You don't get the benefit. But you are told you have to buy it. See, you're admitting to the hospital, your insurance will pay for this, your insurance will pay for that. Well, what are the doctor's fees? $100, $500, $1,000. See, $100 in India is equal to 8,000 rupees or more than that, 8,400 rupees. Okay. In India, you can get an entire MRI done for that. What does MRI stand for? You know, na, MRI. You can do a CAT scan. You can do an MRI. You can do a blood test. You can do everything. And the doctors visit. And doctors visit 10 times also. For that $100 worth. You tell me, what is the use of you paying $100 for just standing in queue over there, and the doctor will say, come in this after 2 months. This is the medical system. So what is the use of insurance and medical system when you are not even getting benefited? So all that you do in your life goes down the hole. I hope you get this point very clear. If you want medical services, please come to India. You know what? Your entire heart surgery to brain surgery to everything can be done at 1/10 the cost and not even insurance required. Just come with the money. Don't worry. We have got the best doctors in the world. You know, all your American doctors, Indian doctors are there, no? And the health of NHI, who has been just now appointed, Mr. Jay, whatever his name is, he's an Indian. So all the Indian doctors are going to America and charging in dollars. For what reason? The same thing you understand here in India. Come to India. That same Bhattacharya will be giving service to you, not in $50,000. He will not even charge you, 5,000 rupees. He say, okay, come. Sit over here. I'll give you half an hour time or more than half an hour. If you have a doctor like mine, he will sit for 1 hour chatting about all the things in the world, including what you don't want to hear also, you will want to chat. There is one restaurant. In that restaurant, you get very nice fish. And that place, you get nice, this thing. And you get Mangalore food. And in Mangalore, there are so many eggs. I ate 6 eggs per day. Nobody wants to hear your story, but he will like to tell you. 1 hour he will spend. And then he will tell you about all the previous patients and all the past patients that have come. Does your doctor do that? No. Because $100 means he's counting 1 minute only. Get out. $500 means 5 minutes. After that, get out. He's charging by the minutes. And that is what is happiness. Sorry, that is called misery. So whatever happiness comes, misery also comes with it. Everything comes package deal. So whoever is concerned, wherever you are, in your normal life, whether you are a devotee or a non-devotee, understand happiness and misery are both coming hand in hand. They are very good friends to each other. So if happiness comes for 1 minute, misery comes for then the next 59 minutes. Got it? 1 minute is happiness, 59 minutes is misery. Yesterday I was seeing something very strange, and you can do the Google also. The greatest love story ever told. Romeo and Juliet is a false story. It's not a real one. It was written by some guy called Shakespeare or something like that. But there is a real love story somewhere in Iran or Iraq or some such place. And that story was of a person called Laila Majnu. Have you heard of this person? Laila Majnu. And I am telling you, in the Paris Museum, an original painting or a photograph, it can't be a photograph, but be a painting of the original Laila Majnu is there. Google it and see. Laila Majnu, Google, please show me the photographs in the Paris Museum. If there is the worst looking character on earth, Laila can beat that person. She looks worse than, by the way, Hidimba is beautiful. You see, Hidimba is beautiful in front of Laila. I don't know why this fellow fell in love with this idiot called Laila. Maybe he had eye cataract or something like that. He couldn't see properly. So the poor fellow fell in love with Majnu. Majnu fell in love with Laila and they died. This is the end of Solomon Grundy. The story ended. What is the point of this kind of love? What is this called, love or what? And especially when you are in love with such a horrible human being. Like that. I mean, she could have gone for plastic surgery. She should have come to India. We could have done some nice plastic surgery on her thobda. People think happiness lies in these kind of things. Full of misery. So always remember this. So we have come to verse 18 end. So we will stop over here now.